Here's what you do. In hardcore, you create a druid. And until you get to the point where you can conjure 3 wolves, you need to conjure 3 wolves, summon 3 wolves. You need to also be able to get your armor on, your personal armor on, although that's not a must. You need to conjure 3 wolves. You also need to conjure or summon 3 ravens. Okay? You may have as many as 5 ravens and 3 wolves. Once you get them, actually once you get the first wolf, you don't kill anything. Once that happens, once you get your first wolf, then your second wolf, then your third wolf. Now you're going to have to get a raven in order to get a wolf. So you have to get a raven first. So you put 1 point to raven, 1 point to wolf, another point to wolf, another point to wolf. You're going to need your oak sage, 1 point to oak sage, and 1 point to your cyclone armor. As soon as you can get that. I forget when that happens. I think so. So, that just comes when it does. But from the time you get the raven, actually, the raven will actually do all of your killing for you. You don't have to do anything. You get a merc. Of course you get a merc. And you outfit the merc as well as you possibly can. Give the merc as much edge as you can possibly give. Get the very best gear for your merc, because you're going to be sitting back doing basically nothing. Then you're going to take your 3 wolves and 3 ravens, or 5 ravens, into Stony Field over and over again. And notice what drops there. Notice what drops in Stony Field. Do not go into Trist. You could go to Trist just to get the quest, but don't keep going into Trist at all. You don't need to. You're going to go into Stony Field, clear it, notice the drops, then recast the game. In other words, make a new game, and again go into Stony Field and in a circular fashion, starting to the right, go to your right and work your way upward and then around and then down and continue right. In other words, you'll be working your way counterclockwise as seen from above. Counterclockwise, the opposite of the clock. Now, please notice how much work they do and will do if you allow them to. And one of the things you'll find interesting later on is that they will take care of all kinds of creatures that you really can't handle. They can. They have resistances you don't have. They have all kinds of amazing resources that you don't have. Ability to carry much more lethal and heavier weapons and so forth. Then we're going to be talking about cubes, about alchemy cubes, how alchemy works. And we'll be actually experimenting a bit with alchemy in hardcore. The reason in hardcore, I'll explain to you very briefly, that I've got to go. I've got to get going. In softcore, there's shopping. There are people out there farming it. There's 38,000 stones of Jordan sold to merchants, blah, blah, blah. That's what that is. Those are people who are who buy and sell items. Now, they don't do that. There is no market for hardcore items, and there's no market created for. There's no market for to sell it or to buy it. Legitimate ones. There's no legitimate market for hardcore. So that means that it hasn't been farmed. That means that the drops are actually natural drops. In the regular game, they're not natural. In the hardcore game, they are natural drops. They're the drops you really would get if nobody was robbing the game of those things to put up in their stores. So I think you'll find it very interesting to play hardcore. You just have to be a lot more careful, and you have to play below your station. You can't play right up to your gear. There's no way. You have to play about 20 or 30% below your actual capacity in order to survive. And you might not survive it. I mean, I've got a level, what is it, 58? I think it's a 58 Druid in hardcore that I use for farming. And he almost bought it last night. He was literally, you could not see the red in his glass. I hit that button so fast, but it could have gone down. He could have gone. Had he gone, he would have gone with a spirit sword and a stealth armor, very high-grade stealth armor. Oh, yes, I'm going to show you how to upgrade your armor that you already have. So you don't have to go to a higher level to get better armor. You can get better armor by upgrading the armor you presently have at your disposal. That's something that you will get a kick out of. I think you also will find some of the recipes interesting. We have cooking recipes in the alchemical oven in Diablo. So there's a number of things that you're going to find that you will want to craft up. So you want to do some alchemical crafting. And we'll be doing all that kind of thing. In addition to that, I think you will find it interesting that you will have to create most of your gear yourself in hardcore, because there is no gear in hardcore. You can't get it very easily. It's hard to get. The odds are actually represented there, so the drops are very few and far between. It has taken me this past week. I have worked constantly in Nightmare since, let's see, today is what? Wednesday already. Oh my God. I've been working since Friday in hardcore Nightmare to try to find you some 4-socket items that you could use to make your way to Nightmare from normal. You can't get them in normal. So I could bring them back. It's called the Prometheus effect. I go there to Nightmare, grab this thing, and bring it back to normal. And if you think about it, it actually is like crossing the barrier, life and death barrier. So it's crossing over. It's actually crossing over, going into the between lives state or going into a between state of some kind, emerging on the other side in some other world, grabbing hold of something that is needed for advancement, bringing it back into the world where the only place you can get to at the moment, which is normal. And so without some help, you will not get from normal to night. But that help could be from a person. It could also come from objects, items like armor and weapons and so on. But it also could come from something within, which is patience, time. Because with time, if you will just Allow yourself to level up beyond where you think it's reasonable, which means it's going to be very, very slow, extremely slow to level up. But you need to play it a little safer, a little more conservatively. You need to be at least 20 to 30% more buff than what you would normally be for that level. And even then, things can go wrong. Like I said, I almost lost my high character, my 58 Druid. It's the highest one I have so far. I'll have them in the 80s fairly soon, but right now it's the highest I've got. And what happened? He was in Act 3, making his way toward Meph, and he got hit by 3 dolls at once. And that will do it. And it was down to 1 out of 1,164 life. 1. It was down to a single point of life. And of course I hit the button to full juve. I had a whole bank full of full juves at that time. That is what you do when you're going to go into a very hazardous area. But playing it smart, I will go in there with a necro as a partner. That will be very, and even smarter than that, we'll all go in there with a Hammerdin at the head. Because those guys just take it right down. They just take it right down instantaneously. You're gone. You don't have a chance to react normally. I mean, I wouldn't have had. I reacted after the fact. And probably saving myself some grief because momentarily I was hit again. So, let's see. Oh, gosh.